Hello again and welcome to yet another edition of Foreign Dispatches, the program that takes you around the world in 25 minutes. I'm Joke Rogers, sitting in for your regular host. On the program this week, in Gaza, Palestinians get creative to spread joy during Ramadan, the first holy month since a ceasefire was reached in October last year. And in Sudan, residents in Khartoum are pleading for relief as Ramadan arrives nearly 3 years into a conflict that has displaced millions and driven up the cost of living. Amid Gaza's devastation, local artists are crafting handmade Ramadan decorations from rubble and recycled materials to bring moments of joy back to their community. Mosques have been destroyed and the impact of war is everywhere. But residents are still finding ways to lift spirits and hold on to tradition.
In the heart of Al Rimal Market, where broken concrete and twisted metal still frame daily life, two girls set up paint pots at the base of a shattered building. Their mural is bold and colorful, a familiar cartoon character tied to Ramadan festivities, painted where everyone passing through the market can see it. Nearby, a message is added in large letters: Ramadan is better in our land.
اليوم اجينا هون نرسم في نص السوق في الرمال على مبنى قبل الكابيتال.
We have lost everything, but we are still happy and breathing, and we try to make ourselves happy with simple things. Our whole lives are at risk living here, but we are decorating to give people passing through the market a sense of Ramadan and bring joy.
The girls say they chose an elevated spot so the artwork would stand out above the ruins and reach as many people as possible, even in a city where damage stretches for blocks.
We really wanted people to see it clearly and to welcome the month in a beautiful atmosphere away from rockets and destruction.
This year, Ramadan arrives in Gaza for the third time since the war began, with many neighborhoods still devastated and most families relying heavily on humanitarian aid amid a steep deterioration in living conditions. In Al-Zarqa, in central Gaza City, piles of rubble fill the spaces where homes once stood. Tents rise among the debris, sheltering families who lost everything. Narrow streets have become passageways between broken walls and concrete fragments.
الحرب بقينا عايشين في قلب الدار ومكيفين.
Before the war, we lived happily in our home. We ate and drank with joy. Today, we have been deprived of all of that. I see goods in the shops and turn my face away because I have no money to buy them. Those living in tents must be helped.
والله قبل الحرب كنا ما عيشها كانت محلاها كنا نودي القرايب.
Before the war, life was beautiful. I would go down to the market to shop for the house and prepare for Ramadan. Today, there is nothing. We are living in tragedy. There is no electricity and no water. Seawater flooded in and swept away our tents.
لقيتها ايش مؤساة. لقيت لا في كهرباء ولا في مية. تشردنا من بيوتنا.
At Gaza City's historic Al-Zawiya market, the Ramadan atmosphere is quieter than it once was. Only a handful of shops hang decorations in an attempt to revive the season, while traders complain of shortages and rising prices.
هذا كان سعره 30 شيكل اليوم 60 أصبح يعني سعره الضعف.
Previously, this lantern cost 30 shekels. Today it reaches 60 shekels. The price has doubled because goods are not entering. People who are struggling cannot celebrate Ramadan as they did in previous years.
Even so, some residents refuse to let the month pass without small signs of joy. Maher Tarazi from Gaza's Christian community walks through the market singing Ramadan songs, trying to lift spirits.
الناس احنا مرينا في ايام منيح اللي احنا عايشين.
People here want to feel joy. We have gone through difficult days, and it is good that we are still alive. They come to the markets, but the situation now is not as it was before in terms of purchasing power.
Across Gaza, that same impulse to keep traditions alive is showing up in other small acts of resilience. In workshops and stalls, residents are crafting Ramadan decorations and lanterns from whatever materials they can find, including recycled wood from aid shipment pallets, because supplies remain scarce.
My son asked me to buy a Ramadan lantern, but the prices were too high, so we started making them using wooden pallets that come in with aid shipments.
I made the lanterns using aid materials like the thermal blankets that were delivered to us. I took the fabric from them to make lanterns from wool and cardboard. I make these lanterns to bring joy to children and to welcome the month of Ramadan with them.
This Ramadan is also the first since the ceasefire began on October 10th, 2025, but the calm has remained fragile, with reports of deadly incidents since the truce took effect. For families walking through Gaza's markets, the murals and lanterns do not erase the devastation, but for a moment they shift the view from what has been lost to what people are still trying to hold on to: faith, tradition, and a reason to hope.
Over in Asia, the markets of Damascus are busy this Ramadan season, but shoppers say their budgets are not. Many families say the cost of basics from vegetables to meat and electricity has surged again, deepening a cost of living crisis as the country's transitional authorities struggle to steady a fragile economy.
In the old markets of Damascus, Ramadan usually brings a familiar rhythm: crowded lanes, full baskets, and last-minute ingredients for iftar. This year, many shoppers are still coming, but they say they are buying less, walking longer, comparing stalls, and settling for what they can afford.
Prices have become very high, including chicken and meat. We can no longer afford to buy anything. Electricity is so high, vegetables have become much more expensive, as well as oranges and clementines. In the past, things were not like this.
For some, the figures are stark. One resident says even working 2 jobs does not cover a household's needs, and that Ramadan shopping has been reduced to essentials.
We can't buy goods that are highly priced. We buy what is reasonable. Today we only buy the essentials. I work 2 jobs and earns around 1.5 million to 2 million Syrian pounds.
He appeals for higher wages and support for those without steady income.
I ask the government to increase the salaries of employees and people in need. There are needy people who are not employees and cannot even afford to buy bread.
The economic strain comes as Syria continues its political transition following the fall of the Assad government in late 2024, with Ahmed al-Shara appointed transitional president and a provisional administration promising reform and reconstruction. Yet even under pressure, Damascenes are trying to hold on to traditions that define the month. In Al-Maidan neighborhood, families gathered to celebrate Takrizait Ramadan with folklore performances, music, and communal dishes. Organizers say the gathering is also about bringing people together at a time of tension and uncertainty.
رمضان كان ضرورية بكل من زمان من أيام أجدادنا نطلع على الربوة قبل.
We are trying to spread reconciliation among people. We will endeavor to unite them in love.
لذلك نحن محافظين على العادة هي.
And for families, it is about passing on meaning to the next generation.
We go out with our families, especially children, so that they maintain Ramadan's traditions. Our heritage needs to be revitalized and preserved.
Although Ramadan arrived with fewer comforts for many households, residents say they are determined to protect what the month represents, even when the cost of daily life keeps rising.
In Sudan's capital Khartoum, Ramadan has arrived with many families facing a familiar struggle. Food is on the shelves, but shoppers say prices have jumped beyond what most incomes can handle. Residents are appealing for relief as the city absorbs large numbers of returnees and tries to restore basic services after nearly 3 years of war.
Khartoum's markets are busy again in Ramadan, but this year the conversations are still less about preparations and more about the cost of things. Shoppers move from stall to stall, weighing what they can afford, as traders display essentials many say are now out of reach.
The impact is palpable due to the lack of income. The goods are available in the markets, but recently the prices have surged significantly.
The pressure is being felt more sharply as people return. The International Organization for Migration says Khartoum has recorded the highest number of returns, with more than 1.3 million people coming back, many to neighborhoods with damaged infrastructure and limited livelihoods.
We hope for the return of displaced people to their homeland, and the prices to be reduced so that the ordinary citizen can live. We also wish that we can live in a safe and secure environment.
Sudan's war, which began in April 2023, has displaced millions and battered supply chains across the country, driving up the cost of food and basic goods. The United Nations describes Sudan as the world's largest displacement crisis, with more than 12 million people forced from their homes and millions facing acute food insecurity.
It is very close to 3 years of ongoing conflict, and in many parts of the country it really rages on. And children are, of course, the most vulnerable when we talk about conflict. There are millions of children who've had to flee from their homes several times, not only once or twice, but more than that. And oftentimes these children then end up in camps for internally displaced, and these are places that are very difficult places to grow up in. It means that they're in cramped spaces, they're in spaces where there's very limited access to safe water, food, opportunities to continue learning. Their sense of safety has been shaken as they've been forced to flee, and they've seen things that many children have never seen and never should see.
At least 40,000 people have reportedly been killed in the fighting between the RSF and the Sudanese military. Aid groups say the true death toll could be many times higher as the fighting in vast and remote areas impedes access.
When Foreign Dispatches returns in just a moment, millions across Asia celebrate Lunar New Year, ushering in the year of the horse. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying tuned. In Indonesia, communities are still observing long-held traditions associated with the start of Ramadan, even as some families deal with the aftershocks of floods and landslides.
In PD Jaya, Aceh, the rain has returned and the recovery is far from over. Homes remain buried in mud after catastrophic flooding, and residents say the water is rising again. But as Ramadan begins, large pots are back on the fire. This is Mugang, an ancestral tradition centered on togetherness, generosity, and gratitude, where families cook and share meat with relatives and neighbors.
Our conditions here haven't really improved yet. Our houses are still buried in mud. To make matters worse, heavy rain from yesterday through today has caused the floods to return, and the water is rising again.
This year's gathering also carried a message of thanks. Residents say local police played a key role during the floods, and officers donated a cow to support the communal meal.
Hari ini kita dalam rangka menyambut bulan suci Ramadan.
Today we are welcoming the holy month of Ramadan. Although it is raining right now, it hasn't dampened our spirits to cook and prepare for the fasting month, and we would like to express our gratitude for their assistance.
Atau disumbangkan oleh
Further south, in Padang, West Sumatra, another tradition continues, Limau Bar Rongi, a cultural cleansing ritual held each year around the start of Ramadan. Women prepared trays of lime water mixed with flowers and herbs, accompanied by traditional music, before forming a procession through the community. Local leaders say the ceremony is a reminder to begin the month with renewed intentions and strengthened bonds.
From the beginning, from our mothers' mothers, from our grandmothers in the past until now, this has been done to welcome Ramadan despite the circumstances. It's an intangible cultural heritage.
And elsewhere, in central Java's Tegel Regency, heavy rain has triggered landslides, forcing thousands from their homes and leaving cracked roads and damaged buildings behind.
Ceritanya awal dari malam Senin.
The ground began to crack, people panicked, and then everyone evacuated. That night, it was like a ghost village.
Setelah saya keluar dari rumah, ada tangga saya yang bilang, Bapak Ilham itu kok sisi.
Mass flooding happened once before, around 1964. At that time, residents evacuated to the rice fields. But it wasn't like this. This time, the impact has spread across the entire village.
Indonesia is facing increased risks of natural disasters due to environmental changes, including deforestation, often linked to global palm oil demand, climate change and rising sea levels.
Madagascar is also counting the cost of Cyclone Gaza, with more than 55 people now confirmed dead. The storm tore through the east coast earlier this month, forcing more than 16,000 people from their homes. Aid agencies warn the damage is compounding an already fragile situation, coming just days after another cyclone struck the island.
In Toamasina, Madagascar's second largest city, streets that should be busy with traffic and trade are choked with debris, ripped roofing sheets and fallen trees. In some neighborhoods, families are wading through dirty floodwater, salvaging whatever they can carry. The UN World Food Programme says the city is barely functioning.
In the space of 3 weeks, Madagascar has been hit by back-to-back cyclones. So right now, according to initial estimates, we have about 400,000 people that are facing acute needs because of these back-to-back shocks. The authorities have reported that 80% of the city has suffered damage. The city is running on roughly 5% electricity at the moment. There's no water. And in fact, one of WFP's warehouses and our office was also completely destroyed during the cyclone.
Authorities say the impact is nationwide. Tens of thousands of homes are damaged or destroyed, schools have been hit, and hundreds of thousands of people have been affected. At the University of Toamasina, students joined a community cleanup, trying to reopen access roads and clear collapsed structures.
All the administration offices are destroyed. The classrooms are damaged. The dormitories are completely destroyed. Students don't even have food.
For residents, the immediate worry is survival, with power and water still out in parts of the city.
It is very sad to see the current situation. Many things were destroyed, particularly houses. Many people were injured and several elderly people in the neighborhood died. There is no electricity at all because the utility poles fell down. We are asking the government to take action as quickly as possible to restore the lives of the Malagasy people.
Humanitarians are warning about the risk of disease as clean water and sanitation systems struggle, and WFP says it is already drawing down its remaining stocks while appealing for urgent funding to keep the response going.
In addition to the urgent need for food, we are concerned about water, sanitation, and hygiene conditions, as a lack of clean water and damaged infrastructure raises the risk of disease outbreaks. There are also rising protection concerns for vulnerable groups, particularly for women, children, the elderly, and persons with disabilities. Families are telling us that they have lost everything. Many are sheltering, as I mentioned, in damaged homes or temporary sites and uncertain about how they can access their next meal.
The storm is the second major hit in just a few weeks, and with cyclone season still underway, residents are urging authorities to strengthen protections to save lives and prevent further damage to homes and infrastructure.
And finally, millions of people across East and Southeast Asia and in diaspora communities worldwide are marking Lunar New Year, with 2026 ushering in the Year of the Horse. From Beijing's Spring Festival Gala to Lantern Festivals in China, Singapore and Vietnam, celebrations this year are blending centuries-old tradition with big modern spectacles.
In Beijing, Lunar New Year festivities began with one of China's biggest annual broadcasts, the Spring Festival Gala, where technology shared the stage with tradition. Humanoid robots joined young kung fu performers in a tightly choreographed routine, a headline moment in a program watched in homes across the country each year. And on the first day of the Lunar New Year, thousands of people flocked to the annual Temple of Earth Temple Fair in Beijing to enjoy the red-colored festive atmosphere of the biggest Chinese holiday.
This is a place called Ditan. This is back to the ancient Chinese history, especially in the Qing dynasty. This place is for the emperor coming here, having like a New Year blast for wishing that the New Year can be like a good fortune and everything. Every year, like people, especially during the New Year, people will come in here and having like a celebration, having like a different stores will come in here, having exhibitions and selling stuff. So everyone is trying to be like happy and wish like the New Year can be like a great fortune and stuff.
Further south, Singapore's River Hongbao lit up gardens by the bay, marking 4 decades of the festival, with giant lantern displays, food streets and fireworks, drawing families and tourists into the night.
I thought it would be like a fun time to come out tonight and join the festivities. Yeah, you know, the fireworks, oh, and the crowd and the stage, all the performance. It's like once a year activity. There's none other like it.
It's really nice. It's really cool, but I feel it's a little bit crowded tonight. There's so many people, but I love all the decorations and the setups. It's really nice.
The fireworks are the fantastic ones, which was returned after 6 years, so it was amazing. Then a lot of things were different compared to last year.
Back in China, the celebrations also spilled into historic sites, with lantern installations transforming parts of Datong's ancient city walls into a glowing corridor of color, drawing crowds keen to welcome the new Lunar Year in a setting steeped in history.
Datong is a historic city with deep cultural roots. I came here to experience the culture of this ancient capital. It's breathtaking. The colors are incredibly vibrant. My whole family really enjoyed it.
Lunar New Year, also known as the Spring Festival, is one of the most important holidays in Chinese culture. This year, the 15-day celebration falls from February 17th to 3rd of March.
And that's the program today. Remember, you can catch all our top stories and more on channelstv.com. Thank you for watching. I'm Joker Rogers. Bye for now.